Have you ever paused just for a moment and ask yourself, where did this modern food system really begin? And how did the fertilizers feeding our fruits and vegetables today, those same nitrogen and phosphorus once used to make explosives in World War II, become the bedrock of our dinner plate? Have you sensed this subtle, unsettling truth? A weed killer sprayed across millions of acres. Glyphosate is now showing up in our rainwater, in our children's cereals, even in organic foods because it drifts on the winds and settles where it will, invisible yet persistent. How does it feel inside you that these very chemicals that require workers to wear full hazmat suits, respirators, gloves, yet we're expected to eat those foods every single day, even though many of those toxins were never genuinely tested for long-term human health? What happens in our bodies when we eat plants grown in soils pumped with chemical factories, soils that push plants to grow fast but strip away the minerals and life force our cells were designed to dance with? What happens to our health when those pesticides, those glyphosates, drift through our air, settle into our water, and quietly find their way into almost every food on our table, touching our hormones, whispering to our microbiome, stirring up inflammation, unsettling our immune systems? And what does it mean for our future when our farming practices depend on chemicals that weaken the soil and damage the biology beneath our feet and produce crops that look healthy, but no longer carrying the deep living nourishment that our grandparents and their cells relied on? The nutrition collapse. Let's begin with the food itself. A landmark study from the University of Texas analyzed 43 common fruits and vegetables and found nutrient declines of 6%, 15%, up to 38% between 1950 and 1999. This is 2025, almost 2026. Proteins down, calcium's down, phosphorus down, riboflavin down, vitamin C down. These aren't fringe theories. They are USDA tracked food composition data for decades. In other words, the same carrot, the same spinach, the same broccoli that your grandfathers ate is not the same carrot, spinach, or broccoli that's on our plates today. It may look similar, but on the inside, it's missing the minerals, the vitamins, the life force it once carried. Our soils are being chemically pushed for quantity, not quality. Bigger food, faster, but emptier. The chemical rise. And while the nutrients have fallen, the chemicals have soared. Far and wide, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, about 90% of Americans now have measurable pesticide residues in their bodies. That means you, your children, your neighbors, your church family, almost everyone. And specifically, the national sampling shows 81% of adults and children carry detectable levels of glyphosate, the most widely used weed killer on Earth. Glyphosates drift. It settles on soil, water, grass, grains, vegetables, fruit, even organic fields if they're downwind. It's in the rainwater, it's in the streams, it's in our cereals. We are living inside a chemical rainstorm we never ask for. And here's the statistics that changes the conversation. A major 2025 study of 4,740 US adults found that higher levels of glyphosate in the body were linked to a 40% higher risk of death. Let me say that again, 40% higher risk of all-cause mortality. We're not talking maybe a sensitivity, we're talking a large real-world analysis. Glyphosate in, mortality up. The human toll. So now let's turn to the people who grow our food. In the US each year, 13,000 to 15,000 farm workers report pesticide poisoning. Worldwide, global reviews show nearly half the farm workers experienced at least one pesticide poisoning each year. Imagine going to work and every year encountering poisoning, but you stay because your family needs to eat. And the same chemicals that require workers to wear gloves, respirators, goggles, and hazmat suits are being sprayed on the very food we feed our children without that same precaution. The chemicals follow us home. And the current chemicals don't stay on the farm. A massive European study found 197 different pesticides in household dust, tracked into homes via air, shoes, clothes, furniture. And some of these chemicals were banned decades ago, yet they still circulate in our living spaces. They don't break down. They don't disappear. They just accumulate. So the produce problem. Yes, we wash our food, we scrub it, we peel it, and yet large-scale produce testing still finds over 250 pesticides on fruits and vegetables, even after washing and peeling, because many of these chemicals are systemic. They don't sit on the outside of the fruit. They soak into the tissue of the plant itself. The impact begins before birth. Perhaps the most sobering truth. In farming regions, studies show over 80% of pregnant women have detectable pesticides level in their bodies. Exposed to multiple chemicals were twice as likely to experience complications like restricted growth or high blood pressure in pregnancy. This isn't just affecting adults, it's affecting the next generation before they're even born. The reality? So, when we talk about fertilizers, pesticides, glyphosates, we're not talking about something out there. We're talking about something in us, in our soil, in our homes, in our food, in our blood, in our children. We are witnessing the greatest quiet shift in human nutrition in modern history, a shift that is weakening our food, our bodies, and our future. And the questions become, what do we do now? What do we choose to feed ourselves? What do we choose to fuel our lives? Because the world has changed, but so have the solutions. Across small towns and rural counties, there is a quiet movement of soil healers, farmers, scientists, volunteers gathering weekends to restore land stripped, poisoned, and abandoned. They plant cover crops. They rebuild microbes. They teach families how to grow real chemical-free gardens. Every year they revive more of the soil, a little more life, a little more hope. But for every acre restored, millions are degrading under the industrial farming. The tide is high, the fight is deep. But there are researchers in the Body Burden Project testing everyday families for toxins, pesticides, plastics, heavy metals, glyphosates. And when parents see the results, they weep, they act, and the ripple spreads. School campaigns, clean water initiatives, laws change, and yet new toxins continue to enter our food, air, water every year, faster than we can remove them. And in cities across America, a coalition of parents, doctors, and farmers, the Clean Food Coalition, presses stories, educates shoppers, partners with farmers who grow nutrient-dense food. They won victories. Some schools switched to pesticide-free products. Some chains removed glyphosate-treated grains. But for every local win, the industrial machine carries on. More chemicals, more shortcuts, more nutrient depletions. So the question we must ask ourselves, yes, there are good people out there, powerful groups doing incredible work, warriors fighting the good fight. But if I'm honest with you, even with all their passion and progress, I don't believe this system will be fully fixed in our lifetime. The damage is that deep. The system is that entrenched. The chemicals are that widespread. What do you think? So now, seeing all of this, the fertilizers born from war chemistry, the pesticides drenching our very existence, the foods that look alive but don't nourish, the real question is, if the system won't be fixed in our lifetime, what can we do for our bodies now? Because truth be told, we can't always control the soil out there, but we can support the soil within us. And this is where a quiet discovery begins to change the story. For more than 50 years, researchers have been studying specific molecules found in plants, not just whole plants, not just generic extracts, but the extract molecular keys that plants use to protect themselves from stress, toxins, drought, and damage. These molecules emerge from a very rare region of the world, Mediterranean blue zone mountain ranges, where the soil has never seen chemicals, never been sprayed with glyphosates, never touched by GMO agriculture, and still grows the same nutrient-rich botanicals that our ancestors thrived on. From these pristine soils comes a plant-based, high-frequency, molecule-specific formulation designed to support microcirculation, cell-to-cell communication, and the body's ability to interface with the toxic world we now live in. This isn't just a vitamin. This isn't just a Band-Aid. It's what I call a nutrition addition, a way to power up your food and help your body receive what modern agriculture can no longer provide. Because if our food has changed, our support must shift too. So here's where it gets interesting. People who add these specific plant molecules to their daily pattern often say they feel something they haven't felt in years. Clarity, energy, flow, renewed circulation, as if their cells finally remember what nutrition feels like again. Now, I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm simply inviting you to wonder what could happen if your body finally received what our modern food system has quietly removed. What could shift? What could open? What could awaken? If this question stirs something in you, if you feel that quiet nudge that says, there has to be a better way, then I invite you to explore this for yourself. There's a solution emerging, a plant-based, molecule-driven breakthrough, grown in the purest soils on Earth, researched for half a century. If you're curious, if you want to see what's possible, then let us take the next step together. Because the problems are real, but so is the hope. And your body is waiting for the moment it can finally say, now we can thrive again. Blessings, beloved. May you journey in health, in clarity, in the quiet power of your own biology, awakened.